6:37 live in studio yet again. I figured, a little Jimmy Buffett. We're all off today, Why not? How have you been, Mary Cordes?
Good. How about you?
It's weird. I slept so much yesterday because I haven't told you this. I was recovering from jazz and wine, to be honest with you. It was ugly. And it was so bad. I slept 16 hours yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm tired today.
Gosh. Yeah. No, we were talking off air. We have a pork steak cook-off every Labor Day weekend. And so you'd think we spend all of Friday. I always take Friday off and spend the whole day working and then the whole day Saturday before the party. So you'd think yesterday morning, I'd be sleeping.
No.
6 o'clock in the morning. All right.
But a lot of people ate good pork steaks.
Everybody did. Yeah.
Well, we were talking, and the library's doing really well, and it's great. You said that the stats are looking good, but today it's Labor Day. Everyone's off, rightfully so.
Yes.
And you had some good departments.
We do. So I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to talk about on Labor Day, or the people that work at the library, because I know I'm biased. I think we have the best staff. And so I thought I'd give some credit where credit's due I hope that everybody who comes in enjoys coming in and meeting the people that work there, because we really enjoy our patrons. And so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about everybody that works there.
Well, let's start off with one I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. With Lacey's new contributions to RiverBender once a week, it's been really cool to see the Alton history pages sharing things and really getting to know Lacey in a different way too. Hell, she's a great writer.
Yes, and she is, and she's so enthusiastic about everything, and you talk about great writers. Pam DeCourcy writes.
She's wonderful.
She writes our articles for the newsletter. All the local history articles that you read in our newsletter, Pam writes those. Not only are they interesting, but they're funny. I mean, Pam is just such a great writer, and you're not only funny, but you're reading it and you're like, I didn't know this. I've lived here my whole life and I didn't know this. And she's interesting, and she's just a great writer. But we've got people that work in that department that are they're really good, and we're really lucky. We have Renee Johnson who works there. We have Beth Phillips who works there. Aliana Kotabi, George works there, and George works at the National Archives as well. So we have that help. He's able to contribute to that as well. And we've just such a great staff. So in the genealogy library, yeah.
Well, I was just kind of curious, real quick before we keep talking. I was like, how many people are watching this live today? A couple thousand on RiverBender.com.
Awesome.
Facebook
amazing.
Hates me because I play music, but on RiverBender, thank you all for tuning in on a Labor Day Monday. How about that? Talking genealogy.
Well, I didn't mention George's last name, George Fuller.
Well, let's talk about genealogy and just all their contributions, because currently, the biggest story ever, and it needs to be talked about more, is how you guys literally saved all of our prints, our history.
That was fantastic. So I said, Lacey and I have both said, if we do nothing else in our entire careers, this will be the thing I'm most proud of. The Telegraph building was being cleaned out, and we were down there looking for back issues. We had a couple of holes in our back issues of newspapers that we needed digitized. And while we were down there, opened up these drawers and saw all the negatives of every photo pretty much that had been in the Telegraph for decades and decades.
Our history.
And decades. Our whole history was in these file cabinets that were going to be gone. And, we were like, nope, not on our watch, and literally stood in front of the file cabinets, and their movers were moving things out, and we're like, you're not moving these.
You're like the guy on the tree with the guy on the chainsaw below you.
Yeah, and so we were able to move them with help. And Don Huber, we moved him across the street to the Alton Township building, put him on dollies, got him across the street. They cleaned out the Telegraph building. We kept him, and now we're in the process of digitizing them and putting them on Illinois Digital Archives for everybody to look at.
And see, I think that's so crucial, though, because there's times where I look up little history about my family and stuff, and, especially on my grandpa's side down in southern Missouri, you try to find things, and the history there is so limited because of just that alone.
Yeah. And, and I don't know what would have happened to him after we took him, but, we thought we've already have a lot of these photographs, in our collection. So we had some photographs, I should say, in our collection, and so we thought the Bob Grawl photos. We thought let's just have them all, and so we're in the process. They're digitized. We're adding them as fast as we can. We're going through and adding metadata on there so that you can search and do searches, so you can have names. It's really important. We're going through and adding the women's first names, because they were all listed as Mrs. like my husband Paul, Mrs. Paul Cordes.
Yeah,
well, I have a first name. And it's Mary,
you are a person,
and
yes.
I'm a person, and so when you're searching for someone, and you may have the woman's first name, but you don't necessarily have the man's first name, and you're searching for them and it's not coming up, it's a way for everybody to be recognized.
Well, and to piggyback off that, that's how good that genealogy department is.
Are.
Because Lacey's talked about some of the investigative work that her and that entire staff have had to do.
They're incredible.
They're incredible. It's wonderful.
And they're of the community. And so they know, it's like, oh, I remember where this used to be. Or I know so-and-so, let me give them a call. Or, oh, I remember seeing, and they've been with us for so long and they're so good at their jobs.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I remember I saw a resource or I saw a source, and they're able to pull that information just from recall and get it for us.
How important is it to have that local touch on that? Because that's a really good point.
It's very important. It's really, really, I mean, people have lived here, for most of them their whole lives. And so, they know people, they know who's related to who or who knows who, and, oh, maybe I can call this person and get some information, or, oh, I remember seeing this book, a decade ago. Let me go grab it and see if we can find that information there. So, yeah.
Well, another thing, too, just to piggyback off of that, is the fact that it's hard for sometimes older historians to hang out and kind of collaborate with new historians because there is legacy there, and there's a lot of pride that comes into knowing our history. And man, everyone in that department can work with any historian in town. It's just wonderful.
It's great. It's great because the whole goal is making sure that we retain our history and have our history. And if that's your goal, you don't care who you work with, how you get it. You just want people to have it, and that's what the staff is dedicated to doing.
What are the hours for genealogy department?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:30 to 5.
Okay.
Wednesday, noon to 7. Saturday, 8:30 to 1.
Just in case you guys needed more information, we could write all that in a...
And it's on our website, too. So if you
Hayner
just go to
HaynerLibrary.org
and scroll to the bottom, all our hours are on there. Yeah.
Love it. Who else are we spotlighting today?
We've got, we have some departments. We have an in-house IT department,
I
which
bet
is
that's
huge.
crucial.
It's huge because there's so many libraries, especially smaller libraries, that don't have one. And so we're very aware of the fact that we have a lot of data. Everybody's library card information, everybody, all of that. And they're on secure servers. They're also off-site. So if something got hacked and, you hear these horror stories about these organizations that are, they're hacked. And then it's like, oh, we have ransom. Now if you give us X amount of money in crypto, then we'll release your server back to you. Well, we have an IT staff. Ted is fantastic at it. Jason helps. They're like, no, if that were to happen, and we have precautions that it won't, but if it were, we have a separate server where we'll just get our information from our second server, and again, I don't know enough about IT.
No, I'll piggyback on
works,
this.
But we're very, very careful about what we do.
It's the same thing we run in here because I worked at a different company that uses third party a lot. And that third party gets dangerous, especially if you're in a public forum.
Yes.
Because if all of a sudden your servers go down and you have a third party managing them, it could be 2 or 3 days while you guys are out.
Yes, and we do our stuff in house.
Yeah.
And that's important. And it's also, we have people who are coming in who are expecting to be able to access the internet, access the Wi-Fi, and have the Microsoft suite and things available to them when they need them. And if something goes down, we have an on-staff IT who's able to get it right back up and it's secure for people.
You just mentioned Microsoft Suite. Is that available there?
Yeah,
I had no idea because that's
so
huge savings.
It's expensive. It's so expensive. You can come in. I'm babying along like Microsoft, like Word 20. I don't even know what version it is. But I'm like, please don't go down at home. But we have Word, Access, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those. So if you need to use them, you can come in for sure and use those. And we have laptops you can check out that have the Microsoft Suite on them as well.
That's good for parents to know because
fantastic.
If anything goes down with school, because you never know what happens with the online Google stuff, you can still get that paper done.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So you can come in and use it or check out a laptop and take it home and have access to it there too. So we do our own in-house IT, which is it's invaluable when you have as many computers as we have, staff computers and public access computers.
Well, you have a good IT team because of the way it's organized.
Yes.
Because you guys have a lot of computers just in genealogy alone for people to research, and there's no clutter.
Yep.
I mean, that's huge, and that shows the professionalism of that team.
Yeah, if you could see our server room and see our racks and things, oh my gosh, Ted and Jason are just, everything is precise and organized, and it's like, okay, I feel, I don't know anything about IT, but I feel secure just by looking at what, that they know what they're doing. You don't walk in and think, what is going on in here? You're like, okay, these people know what they're doing, and that's important.
Well, and another thing with IT is, I mean, even though, it's Labor Day and it might be Christmas, if something happens, those guys know that they're going to be out there fixing it.
Exactly.
It's just a good team.
It is. So
hats off to you guys today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Faith Robinson, who helps with our social media and our website. And
She does
I'm
good.
eternally grateful to her, because anybody who knows me, I'm not on social media. I'm just not. I don't like it. I just don't. It's not my thing. And so having somebody who not only is effective at it, is good at it, and likes it, and she's very, very good at it. She's also does our copy editing for that as well, and so I never have to worry like, oh, is everything grammatically correct or is it factually correct? She is on it. She's got posts organized and ready to go. Our website, she helps update that, and it's a huge help to me too, because I was doing that before, and it was trying to do too much, and then you think, did I get everything? Did I miss something? And Faith she's on it.
What happens with that too is you're good for maybe 2 weeks, because you think, oh, I have it, and then all of a sudden you forget 1 or 2 days, and you have to start all over again.
Exactly, and it's difficult. You're running around. So Faith is fantastic at that. So yeah.
Thank you, Faith.
Thanks,
I love
Faith.
the pictures too. I love the way back Wednesday or throwback
Those
Thursday
are fun.
picture. Yeah,
those are fun.
Really cool.
Yeah, and we have a good time with those too. So
every morning I get up or I come over to work and I go to Max across the street, and one of your maintenance individuals is always
Sherry.
out. Sherry is one of my favorite people.
Yep. She's fantastic. I've got my list of everybody, all the departments on there. I'm just crossing them off as we go. But people think, oh, okay, the library. We have, not only do we have 3 locations, but with those 3 locations comes, and people don't realize how much landscaping we have.
Yeah.
Because you see the buildings, but you don't see the landscaping outside the buildings. So not only all the maintenance that goes on inside the buildings, but all the maintenance that goes on outside the buildings. So we have our pocket park at the corner of State and 4th Street. Everybody thinks that's a city park. That's ours.
That's not a city park?
No, that's ours. And so we maintain that. And so we have the
one of my
maintenance
favorite
of that.
places.
Yep, we have the maintenance of that. We also have a little garden that is on the side of the Genealogy and Local History Library that you can't really see when you drive by, but it's extensive. So you go down, and anybody's welcome to use it during, dusk to dawn or dawn to dusk. It's a very nice place. It's secluded. It has benches. It's very peaceful and relaxing. But all of that has to be maintained.
Yep.
The parking lots have to be maintained. The sidewalks have to be maintained, and we have one sidewalk that is completely covered, never sees the sun. So in the winter, keeping that from
icing over,
slipping
yeah.
and icing is a job itself. And Jim is just getting ready to retire. Actually, this is his last week. So we have a maintenance position open if anybody is interested. Yeah.
Let's talk about the parameters of that, because honestly, if you guys are just now, maybe you're done with your first career and you're semi-retired, what better job? And honestly, if you just need something to do, what better job?
Yeah. So it's basically what we need is a jack of all trades, or Jill of all trades, because like I said, Sherry's out there.
She holds the fort down.
Yeah, exactly. So we are looking for someone to fill Jim's shoes. It's Monday through Friday from 8 to 1, so 25 hours a week, 8 to 1, Monday through Friday. The off hours, if we have bad weather on a weekend, and last year we're out there shoveling snow on the weekends. I'm out there, Jim's out there, Sherry's out there. But somebody that might every once in a while have to do something like that. But the vast majority of the time, Monday through Friday, 8 to 1. It's Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund.
That's the big kicker.
Yeah. Paid time off. So if you're looking for it, just go to either come into the library and put in your application, or you can go to HaynerLibrary.org and read the full job description. But we just need somebody to help us with that. So that's part of our. You can join our team here at Hayner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I just love it, and it shows too, because it's nice to know that you guys have such a dedicated team. Because let's be honest here, Mary. I mean, when it's 4 degrees outside and you guys have to be open because you are a warming center.
Yep.
You got to make sure that it's safe for those folks to get there. And Sherry and the team and you guys are out there.
Yep.
It's not, you got to do what you got to do.
It's all hands on deck, because I've been out there shoveling snow and salt, and I've recruited Paul, who's with me today. Poor old Paul, he's been out there in the morning shoveling snow and throwing out salt, and it's there's a lot that goes into it behind
really
the scenes.
Cool.
So yeah. So I'm just going to keep going. We've got our cataloging. I'm bound and determined to get our cataloger on here. I know. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of that vague so that I can hopefully get them to come on and talk about it. But we have a cataloging and processing team, and these are the people that are behind the scenes that no one ever sees, but they are so integral and important to our staff. So everything that we have a collection development manager. Assistant director, Katie, who is fantastic, and she's the one that does the selection of the materials for adults, children, and teens with input from the staff. But she is in charge of budgeting that and making sure that we have everything we need in our collection. So everything from our bestsellers to little known titles, she's the one that is picking those out for print material, non-print material, ebooks, all of that. And then that goes into our cataloging and processing department, and they're the ones that are ordering everything, actually physically ordering everything. Then they're trying to remember, they have a fantastic system for what goes to the mall, what goes downtown, what goes to genealogy. Then it comes in and they catalog everything so that when you're searching in the card catalog, when you are finding all those search terms that you can find your information, they're processing it. So they're the book jackets and putting on call numbers and stamping everything correctly. And there's so much more to their job than I'm able to explain. Cataloging is the one department I've never.
But honestly, that's the most crucial.
It's huge.
I mean, you couldn't do what you needed to do without that.
No,
and it takes a special person to do that job.
It does. It does. And we have fantastic catalogers. She's so good, Lauren Irwin.
Lauren, that seat's ready for you.
I need to get Lauren on here. We're right here to talk about it. But we have Lauren and we have Tara and Geraldine and Tabitha, and they're fantastic. And like I said, they're behind the scenes, and so you don't really. They're sort of the unsung heroes because nobody ever sees them. They're behind the scenes working.
Well, and if they weren't good at what they did, there could be a lot of issues.
Well, there could be because in two ways. So if they're not good at what they do, they're going to have a backlog. And when we say, when James Patterson's new book comes out on every new items, I don't know if people know this or not, new items books are always released on a Tuesday. So if on a Tuesday James Patterson book is expected to be out and they're not doing their job, it's not going to be out on what we call a street date. And people are looking at the card catalog and thinking, well, I'm on the list for this. Where's this material?
Right.
Well, it's done in process. We get things ahead of time. And so we have them all ready to go so that they are processed and they are in the tubs and out to the libraries on the day that they're street dated.
It's wonderful.
So they come out and they need to do their job. The other thing is if they do their job incorrectly and get those things out too early, that's actually a violation of our contracts with our publishers. And so there's an issue with that. So we cannot get these things out earlier than the bookstores and their street dates because that's a violation. And so to manage that and make sure everything is all the moving parts it's huge. It's
that
really
is
huge.
Massive.
And they're cataloging digital collections. They're doing original cataloging of materials that they're not in any system anywhere else because a lot of that is local history.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay,
that kind of information. So
which is crucial.
They're creating their own records from that too. So
wow.
it's intense and it's super interesting, and I want to get them on to talk about that. So
it's just incredible.
Yeah,
well,
and
who else are we spotlighting today?
We've got our homebound department. So this is Bruce and Esther, and they are making sure that if you are temporarily or permanently homebound and you live in our district, that you're able to access library services
really
just
cool.
like everyone else. And they're making deliveries multiple days a week to people's homes, to retirement communities, to assisted living facilities. We're taking people say, where do you take your books after you're finished with them? They've had their shelf life, they're not being checked out anymore. Sometimes they'll take the books and they'll take them to nursing homes or things when they've finished our life at the library. We'll delete them from our system and take them to nursing homes and retirement places so people can have access to them and they don't have to worry about getting them back because there's a lot of transients, in a nursing home or things like that. So Bruce and Esther are working hard to make sure they know their patrons, know what they like to watch, read, and listen to, and assisting them as best they can with
I'm sure that's a very personable job.
It is, and it takes Bruce. If anybody knows Bruce, he is just this outgoing guy who loves people, and people love Bruce. And same with Esther. Esther was a nurse. She's a retired nurse, and so taking care of people is in her nature. And she's very efficient, very organized,
so cool.
And they're a good team. And they really care about making sure they know their patrons really well, so that they can give them what they want when they're in their homes. And so that's an important service. And anybody that's interested in that, like I said, temporarily homebound, so maybe you're on bed rest if you're having a baby, or you've broken a bone and you can't drive, or you've had an injury and you can't get out. If it's just temporary, we're happy to help with that. And then when you're back on your feet, so to speak, and can come back to the library, then you're off the service.
It's good to know for folks too that maybe have parents that with mobility issues that are to the point where it's too much to go out of the house.
It is, and a lot of that is access. In that situation, either people aren't tech savvy, and so they can't access our ebooks, which we have a lot of. We're able to bring materials to their house. or sometimes it's site issues.
Yeah.
And so we can bring you audiobooks, we can bring you large print books, we can bring you all of that. So
what was the other device we were talking about?
The books for Braille.
Yes.
The Illinois Talking Book Center through the Illinois State Library, books for the blind, and so we can help. We have those applications at the library. That actually is through the state, and things are mailed to you, but we can give people the applications and give them that information. So and that would kind of fall into the homebound purview. So we have a grant writer, Patty Morrissey, helps us write grants.
Well, I'm sure that is a
we have
massive
a grant
part
writer,
of the job.
and we have, and she's always keeping her eye out for what's available, what our laptops and hotspots that we check out to people. Patty wrote the grant for that, so that we had the funding for that. So we have Patty doing that. Jeannie Truckee is one of our newest employees. Jeannie is out there. It's a constant battle to get material that we've either had for a really long time that's not getting checked out anymore, or that's outdated, or that kind of pulling that off the shelf to make room for all the new stuff that we're constantly getting every week. So Jeannie's out there with the cart going to town, making room and that. So, and then we talked about Katie, who is oversees that in collection development. So we have a good team, and we've got, I know you stop me when you want me. I'm just talking.
No, we're going.
I think it's important for people to know, like, when you see your tax bill and you see what's coming in, like, what am I getting for that?
That's why I want to talk about all these departments, and we go a little over. That's fine because, obviously it's taxpayer funded. You've been very honest. I mean, there's no getting away from that.
There isn't. And to me, my whole goal as director, and I think everybody here we are very aware of that. And I mean, I pay taxes too.
Right.
And so I want an efficient use of my tax dollars. And to me, the whole goal of an entity is to bring you the maximum amount of benefit with the minimal amount of waste.
Well, and you guys have never put on referendum on a ballot ever. I mean, that's what I think is very important too.
And so we want to make sure you get your maximum amount of value out of the library, and we are very, very conscientious of the fact that we are spending your tax dollars, and so we spend them wisely, and we try to be as efficient with them as possible, and that's really important. I mean, even down to when we get finished using paper for something else, we cut it up and we're making scrap paper for you, so you write your call numbers down. I mean, we're just it's something as small as that, but being very, very mindful of tax dollars.
Well, and you guys we don't have the largest district in the world. We have a considerable size, but it's not massive.
It's not Chicago.
It's not St. Louis Public Library System.
No, it's not.
So for you guys to have every component of a major library system here without going on referendum and raising my tax dollar, it's a major incentive to keep supporting.
And especially with the price of books now.
Yeah.
So, you look at, if you're a reader or you use a device or you listen to an audiobook, audiobooks can be, $100 now. And so you check out three of those a year, you've saved more big. Exactly. And talking about being as big as the St. Louis County Library System, that brings me to our interlibrary loan department.
Yeah.
Because interlibrary loan is, it's huge. I mean, it's Tabitha, Juliana, Julie. They're working hard and to make sure that they are in charge of the materials that come in from other libraries when you make requests, and they're in charge of sending materials out so that other libraries can have the benefit of our collection as well. And so every day, hundreds of items a day are going in and out. And I just finished our big statistical report, so I'm going to bring those statistics with me. But, they're sending out 40,000 items a year and bringing in like 70,000 items a year, or maybe I might have those numbers reversed. It's been a long week.
Regardless, keep track of that at home. And that's how good you have to be.
So they're doing so much work in and out every day. Materials are going in and keeping track of all of that and making sure that everybody's got what they need is huge. And so, and then we're down to our three public-facing departments, which is circulation. So these are the people that the majority, when you come in the library, they're the ones that most people see.
I want to give a shout out to them. Yeah. Seriously, because there's a lot of things that in circulation you have to encounter, and that's just from my brief experience kind of walking in and out.
Yep.
You have to be able to adapt to any conversation and any person.
Absolutely. And so you, from a person who's never walked in a library before to somebody who uses a library, some people every day.
Yeah.
And so not only with with that, but you're dealing with people that come in with really technical questions that need a lot of IT assistance, down to somebody who's like, I don't know what to read. Can you help me? Or, oh, I read about this that you're doing. They have to know everything that's going on in every department, because they need to be able to refer them to a specific department, know about what program the patron's talking about, or know what's going on. And so Cirque is kind of on all the time.
Yeah.
So the minute we open the doors, so the minute we close the doors, we never know. We also don't know who's going to be walking in the door and what their need is.
That's what I'm getting at, too, because you guys service so many folks that, I mean, you have to have compassionate people, but not only compassionate, somebody that's eager to talk to somebody, too.
Exactly. And that's the kind of the beautiful thing about a public library. It's the last place in our community where everybody is welcome. You don't have to be buying anything. Interest. That's it. Interest or a need. Maybe your need for the day is to have a nice warm place to sit. And we need to make sure that we have that for you, that while you're here, you're following the rules and you're,
right.
That kind of thing. So those Cirque staff, they have to be a little firm sometimes and say, yes, you're welcome to use the library, but this is the behavior that we expect when you're in here. All the way to, I just got diagnosed with this. We've had this. We've had people come in, and I need some books on this. Can you help me? Now the internet has people have more access to resources, but we've had that in the past. Or somebody's like, or my dad just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Do you have?
I know of somebody that actually had their partner had a very significant battle with the disease, and that's the first place they went was, let's go to Hayner and learn about this.
And so you need to know, that you can help somebody like that.
Wow.
And be compassionate and be helpful, all the way to, oh my God, Office Depot just closed and I need to use the copy machine and I don't know how to use it. Can you help me? Absolutely. Well, everything in between.
A big component of that too is also getting that little one that's going in with grandma the first time excited about going.
Yes.
So that all of those things are just so huge and crucial to your mission.
Yeah, and the staff, my whole philosophy is we just want everybody to feel welcome in the library. And so, yes, we may get the same question 50 times a day, but that person didn't ask that question 50 times.
Yeah.
It's a new, and so you want to be able to answer the same question that you answer 50 times a day with as much enthusiasm and energy from the first person all the way to the last person that asks it, and everybody that walks in. If we can't help you, we can get you to the person that can.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And that goes for our reference, our last two departments, reference and our Kids Space and Teen Space. So reference is fantastic. Reference is old school reference. My favorite thing when I first started at the library was the internet was there, but it wasn't a thing. Like, I remember the first time I saw Google and it kind of blew my mind. And I remember somebody saying, I think this might change our job. And that was like the understatement of the century. but so that totally changed it. But we used to have guys who would call in, you could tell they would be at a bar and they'd have a bar bet going on of like, what's the capital of Kenya or something, or how many moons does a certain planet have? And there was no way to get the answer. And so they would call us and we would have the best time answering all of these questions. And our reference librarian can do everything from small, old school answering questions to very large, you're working on a research paper or project or something and help you with that. Johanna is our reference
She's
librarian.
wonderful.
She's fantastic. I need to get her on to talk too. And talk about, she does our one-on-one tech help appointments. So everything from old school reference questions to helping people with technology and everything in between. So if you need some reference is great for sitting down and having conversations and getting information. Cirque can answer the quick, fast questions, and reference is where you're going to get your reader's advisory help, or what can I read next, or in-depth reference or information services is reference. And she's fantastic. And then we have our Kids Space and Teen Space department, and we talk about them all the time. Which is vital. It's because the minute, when kids are young is when you want to hook them, so to speak, on the library.
Yep.
And then you'll have a lifelong learner and you'll have a lifelong library patron. And so it's really important. They plan the programs, they plan the services, and it's important that you have the right people in those positions so that they do make kids want to come in and feel welcome.
Well, and that's a big topic in this community right now is programs for kids, number one, but keeping the community safe and away from things that are dangerous.
Yes.
And, when there's not a lot of options around for that, and I mean, there just isn't.
There's not.
But you guys have that already set up where it's not only just giving you the kid or teenager an opportunity to get away from mom and dad. they're thinking critically, they're working with a group, which is unheard of anymore, and they're also listening to different ideas and having conversations with people that have different thoughts than them, which is, again, unheard of right now.
It is, and it's really in a place where there's not we do have some video, we have video game opportunities and things, but they're not on devices. They're actually one-on-one. They're making friends, and we do have, that's the cool thing about our teen group, is they've made friends with each other.
Right.
And these are really critical, critical thinking, communication skills, interpersonal skills, all these things, and they're just a great group of kids.
And you don't have to be a rich parent to give your kid that opportunity, and that's so, because parents feel bad about that, and
exactly.
And it's like, because you see that your neighbor's kids are going to soccer camp, or maybe they're going to a big summer camp. Well, you can still provide that wonderful opportunity right here at Hayner and get them more out of it.
And it's free.
Yeah,
it's completely free.
It's just crucial.
And it's a really great staff and a really great group of people. So that's kind of.
I'm just glad we got to learn about this today, because so many times, like we started the segment, is because we drive by the damn building all the time and don't realize that there is a full-on machine that's just doing all this for a district that's pretty large.
Yeah, it's big. It's 47,000. We cover approximately 47,000 people in our district.
Yeah, like comparatively to St. Louis, it's smaller, but for here, you guys have a lot of ground.
It's
and
big. To
do what you're doing with the staff that you have is truly incredible.
Yeah, and I didn't talk about everybody's names, and I hit on some of our departments are so big, I don't want to be nervous and miss somebody. Oh my God, I forgot this person's name. Even though we all work together so well, and most of us have worked together for so long, but it is really a really great place to work with really great people who really do. I know it sounds corny, but really do care about their community and the people that are walking in the door.
So, if you guys have been tuned in, this has been a fantastic conversation. We had a lot out of this, but I want to end on this. Labor Day, we just recognized all the departments at Hayner. We hope that you're taking off and enjoying the day, but also, if you want to join the team at Hayner, what was that maintenance position again?
We're calling it light maintenance. I had to change the name because somebody said, so you're hiring somebody to work on the lights. I'm like, no. Light maintenance. I mean, you will be changing light bulbs, so you need to be able to get on a ladder. But it's kind of a light maintenance position, and so it's changing light bulbs, helping with the groundskeeping, taking materials back and forth between the buildings, that kind of thing. And so that's at HaynerLibrary.org. And I just realized I forgot the administrative staff. The people that I literally work with every single day right next to me. Yeah. Sue Harden and Linda Craver, they're in our business office. They do a lot. So all the bills that get paid, Sue's in human resources, and she also is our chief financial officer, and there's so much that goes into that.
Thank you so much, Sue, for what you do. And Linda, too.
Both of them.
And your board of directors, or the Hayner board.
Yes, the board of directors. We have a fantastic board who works really well with each other and has a really diverse background as far as their knowledge of the community and the jobs that they do. And that we couldn't do it without them either.
By the way, so my plan is to do another Christmas at Hayner show.
That was fun.
But also, Santa's coming this time. I forgot to tell you, he's going to read a book at the fireplace.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, there we go. Great. Sorry, I got an email, but I almost fell out of my chair when you told me that was the light maintenance story.
And I didn't even think about it.
You're right, though. I'm in tears, though.
Think about it. I thought, oh my gosh, I can so see how someone would think that.
No, me too, because
And I'm thinking light as in you don't, because
you aren't running a backhoe.
Thank you. Yes.
We are out of time on a Labor Day Monday. Mary Cordes, thanks for stopping in. And all of you, we'll see you back here for more of our daily show on a Tuesday. On that note, just have a great Labor Day, and most importantly, try your best as always to stay out of jail.
Oh, yes, he did. He said he would.